Hey guys, welcome on in to today's video where we're going to be going over some of the more competitive districts and how their primaries went down here on June 12th, 2018. So we're going to go through, take a look at the Cook political report and every single district that they have listed as possibly being competitive. We're going to see how those primaries turned out and seeing if it's looking better or worse for the Democrats or Republicans. So we're going to go through states like Maine, South Carolina, Virginia, and Nevada specifically that have competitive districts. So starting off here, we're going to look at Maine, and their second district is looked as a great possibility for Democrats to pick up a seat. On the Republican side, you have the incumbent who ran unopposed. On the Democrat side, we see over 36,000 votes cast. And we'll take a look here on the Cook political report, how this particular district is listed. And right now, it's listed as a lean Republican, but I think it's more of a toss-up or maybe even a lean Democrat at this point, because we're going to go and take a look back at the 2014 midterm primaries in this same district. And as you can see here on the Democrat side, 28,000 votes cast. So when we compare this over, again, that Democratic enthusiasm is definitely showing up in this midterm. About 8,000 more votes, actually about 8,500 more votes cast this time around. And you compare that over to the Republican side, which had about 34 to 35,000 votes. So also more than on the Republican side as well by a couple thousand votes there. So really positive stuff here for Democrats in Maine's second district, and the fact that their primary had way better turnout than it did back in the last midterm elections, and also better than the Republican turnout in that midterm election as well. It's definitely looking very good for the Democrats here in District number 2, but going to be tough going against an incumbent, but still, based on this primary voting data, and still only 80% of the vote in reporting right now, I'd only expect this number to increase and be more impressive in the just overwhelming turnout we're getting here in Maine's second district on the Democratic side. So moving on to our next, what's viewed as a somewhat competitive seat here. It is listed as likely Republican, so we're going to take a look at that here. It's going to be the South Carolina 1st District, and you have the incumbent there, Sanford, but he went down somewhat surprisingly here to challenger Katie Arrington. In Sanford, he's spoken out against Donald Trump, and that's a big reason why he went on to lose to the challenger in this scenario. And on the Republican side, it was expected to be a much more hotly contested election and race. So that's why you're getting way more turnout on their side than on the Democrat side. You had about 32,000 votes. In the Republican primary, about doubled that with 64,000 votes. A lot of this Mark Sanford vote, it'll be interesting to see if they turn out and actually vote for Katie Arrington, someone who took down their candidate, their incumbent, or if there's a bit of a situation where maybe they cast a protest vote and go on the Democrat side, for instance, or if they just don't show up altogether because they're frustrated that Katie Arrington came in, challenged their incumbent, and was able to win at the end of the day because of Sanford speaking out a number of times against Donald Trump. So this is listed as a likely Republican seat, so it would be a surprise if the Democrat was able to pull off the upset, but the fact that you don't have that incumbent on the Republican side at least makes it a little bit more competitive, or you would expect it to be so anyways in South Carolina's 1st District. So definitely going to be keeping our eye on this one to see how it plays out. So now moving on to Virginia, which has a number of competitive districts. So starting off here with Virginia's 2nd. And on the Democrat side, 28,000 votes cast. On the Republican side with the incumbent, 37,000 votes cast. So looking pretty good early on here for the Republicans, having about a 9,000 vote gap in their primary. It is worth noting in general, you're getting a different electorate in a primary than you're going to get in a general election. It tends to be a bit more older demographics, which of course tend to be a little bit more Republican leading in general. So if Democrats are winning these primary vote results, it's a great sign for them. Historically, their voters don't turn out quite as well in these primaries. They tend to have a bit more younger of an age demographic that doesn't necessarily have the time to go out and vote in a primary that they would make time to do so in a general election. But a 9,000 vote gap is somewhat significant. Going to be a tough battle here. This one is a let's see here. It's a lean Republican district in that Virginia 2nd. And they have the incumbency advantage, but just looking at the numbers here, looking pretty good for the Republicans at this point. Moving on to the Virginia 5th, and we don't have any primary data from that. They're going to be nominating at a convention, I believe, their candidates on both sides. So no data to go off of there, unfortunately. And then moving on down to Virginia's 7th district. On the Democrat side, we see 45,600 votes cast, with their winner getting 72.7% of the votes. And I pulled up the Ballotpedia 7th district in the last midterm elections in 2014. And we had a Republican primary that had 65,000 votes cast in that one. And then in the general election, the Republican went on to win rather convincingly in that situation. So 65,000 votes cast in the last midterm in this 7th district. And as you can see here, 45,000 votes cast. So again, not looking great in terms of being down by 20,000 votes in your primary on the Democratic side compared to the last primary that we had in a midterm on the Republican side. So an uphill battle and going against an incumbent. Not going to be an easy scenario, but again, going to be keeping our eye on this one to see how it plays out. So I believe we had another Virginia. Yeah, so Virginia's 10th here, and that's going to be a Republican toss-up district. And we're going to scroll down to that one. And we had a contested primary on both sides. The Democrats getting 53,800 votes. Republican side getting about 46,000 votes. So this is a great sign right here for the Democrats, getting about 7,000 more votes in their primary. And with the other side having an incumbent and still being able to win by that margin is very positive. So in terms of this district and what's a toss-up Republican seat right now, in terms of this early voter turnout, definitely looking very good for the Democrats. So now we're going to move on here. I believe that was the last competitive district in Virginia. Yep. So the next one is going to be the state of Nevada, where we have a couple of competitive districts. Starting off here, an open district, which is a likely Democratic one. That's going to be the Nevada 4th. So we'll try to find that one here. And on the Democrat side, we had about 36,000, almost 37,000 votes. Republican side, 32,000 votes. And with the Democratic candidate winning with about 22,600 to 700. And then on the Republican side, 15,200. So looking really good on the Democrat side here, winning in total voter turnout by about a little over 4,000, and then also their candidate getting about 7,000 more votes than the winner on the Republican side. So this is a likely Democratic seat, and it's looking like it'll probably be in that instance. And now our next one is going to be the Nevada 3rd, which is also an open. And on their side, the Democrats, 38,000 votes. On the Republican side, 34,000 votes. So again, winning the primary turnout there, looking pretty good. Democrat side, you had the winner get about 25,000 votes, and the Republican winner get about 15,000 votes, so about a 10,000 vote gap there. Again, looking very good for the Democrats, probably expecting them to take this one as well at the end of the day. So that's going to wrap up our coverage, guys. We went through every single competitive district as listed by the Cook Political Report. Again, I'll throw the Cook Political Report competitive district numbers down, this article down in the video description. And again, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. If you want to check out our Senate election primary results, we made a video on that from the June 12th vote, so you can check that out. And we hope to see you guys back here for future videos. Bye.